Hi, this is Arne K with the Boxing Channel. I'm here at the Mayweather Gym in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the gentleman standing on my right, Rafael Garcia Jr. People who have been around boxing a long time will recognize the name Rafael Garcia Sr., a legendary cornerman, cutman, hand wrapper, trainer, who unfortunately died last November. This is his son. This is Rafael Garcia Jr., who's a regular at the gym. Good to see you again.
Arne, pleasure seeing you. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. And before we did this interview, we did a little reminiscing about you growing up with a father who was immersed in boxing, and we talked about the fact that the first boxer you ever remember meeting, and you were about 4 years old, was Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
And you just dated yourself.
Yeah.
Was he scary?
He was. He was scary. He was big and scary. I didn't want to get next to him because he was so scary.
But they said he was so good with children. I think you blew it.
No, my dad made sure I got to meet him. So I got to meet Sonny Liston for the first fighter I got to meet in my life. Yeah.
And of course, at your house, a lot of boxers would come through. Most obviously, I guess, Floyd Mayweather Jr. We're at his gym. Your father worked his corner most of his later fights. After his fight with Diego Corrales, your dad was in his corner. Floyd would say, "There's no one in the world except Rafael Garcia who can wrap my hands." That's
true. That's the way Floyd liked it when he was working with my dad, and I love Floyd Mayweather for what he's done and to help our family. And for one of the last things that Floyd did, I think, was Floyd was one of the last persons to see my father alive before he passed away. Really.
And we should note that before your father passed in November, a couple of months before, he was inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. And I know that was a special moment in his life and in yours.
It was from a man from Mexico to be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame here in Nevada was huge for him. I mean, it was one of the biggest things that ever happened to him, besides winning with fighters in world championship fights.
It's been written that your father worked with 35 world champions. You think that number's too low?
Yeah, it was at least 50. At least 50 to 55 world champions my dad's worked with.
Including such names as Roberto Duran, and you've met Roberto?
Roberto, yes. He came to our house when I was a child. As one of the people that stopped by our house when I was a kid, wrestled with him and stuff like that. He was a serious person.
Well, don't hurt him.
No, he hurt us, believe me. He played with us, hurting us, because he was for real. He wasn't a playful kind of guy. He would hurt you.
Alexis Arguello?
Alexis Arguello, Wilfredo Gomez, Chad Dawson, just to name a few. Okay.
Now, we should mention, even though you grew up around boxing, you didn't really become, can I call you a gym rat? You really didn't become a gym rat till about 10 years ago. You're in your mid-50s now. What made you decide that this was the environment you wanted to be in?
It's a place I could be around my father most of the time. That's basically what I wanted to do. My dad had a heart attack about 15, 20 years ago, and I wanted to be around him as much as I could because you never know what might happen. Another heart attack, he could die. So I wanted to spend some time with him, getting older and stuff like that.
Would it be fair here at the Mayweather Gym to call you a jack of all trades, someone who sees what, I don't mean sweeping the floor. Let's get that straightened out.
I wouldn't even sweep the floor. That's not a problem. I am very humble. I could do all kinds of that. That's how you become a person in the gym and respected in many ways. If you could do all those kind of things and still stop bleeding and wrap hands and do mitts, you can do all that.
And before this day is over, you'll be doing all of those things. Not sweeping, but working the mitts, as Eddie Mustafa Muhammad is doing behind us here.
Yes. Eddie Mustafa is one of the greats. Again, my dad's worked with, one of the 55 world champions that my father's worked with. He's a very good friend of mine, and I work a lot with Mr. Eddie Mustafa.
Do you have a favorite active fighter? I don't mean necessarily the toughest guy, but someone that you feel close to as a person?
It's all a boxing family to me. all the fighters to me I'm very close to. That's the way my father was. I enjoy boxing, and it's all about some family to me.
I know Jesse Vargas, who lives here in town. I know he was a godson to your father,
and he was one of the last boxers, world champions that my father got to work with. Was going to work with him on his last fight before he passed away. Yes, and I love Jesse. He's like a brother to me. He really is.
And who will you be working with today, or don't you know yet?
There's a couple fighters. There's Andres Cortez. He'll be coming in a little later. He's going to do some sparring. There's Sharif, and there's Thel Torrance right over there.